Why does he do that? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men by Lundy Bancroft.
Baby girl! What happened last night, man? You just left before I woke up. Last night was really something. Like we were when we just got married. Eh?
I don't know, Sochi.
What's wrong?
This. Why did you do this?
Oh, that.
All that?
What do you want me to say now?
Sochi, I thought we had dealt with this now. I thought we had a plan.
We did. I mean, we do.
And so why did you miss your last 2 payments of this debt to the bank?
No.
This was your debt. Eh? And because of our partnership and all the things I believe that we agree on, family and everything, I agreed to help you repay this thing.
This one, it's not...
No, Soji. I'm paying the interest and half of the principal of this thing. All you have to do is pay the rest. Does it have to fall to me to sort it out before they come for all our assets?
This one, take it easy now. It's not that serious.
Soji, are you joking?
Look. What is it now? What is it? Why are you attacking me? You know if I had the money, I'll pay for this thing.
Oh, really? You would? Would you really? Because you always have money to go out with the guys and pick the tab. You have money to buy SJ big, expensive, unnecessary gifts and tech gadgets. You have money to buy yourself clothes, shoes, sunglasses. When it comes to bills, it's never necessary. Something must go wrong.
Hey, Adeswa, Osharo, what is it now? It's too early for me to be listening to all this kind of nonsense. I beg. Promised SJ I was going to drop him off.
Chapter 3. The Abusive Mentality. Here are some things abused women have said to Bancroft. His attitude always seems to be, you owe me. He manages to twist everything around so that it's my fault. I feel suffocated. He's trying to run my life. Everyone seems to think he's the greatest guy in the world. I wish they could see the side of him I have to live with. He says he loves me so much, so why does he treat me like this? People in abusive relationships often doubt themselves and their reality. Bancroft says, quote, "When I work with an abused woman, my first goal is to help her regain trust in herself, to get her to rely on her own perceptions, to listen to her own internal voices." End quote. Brief aside, I love how compassionate this is towards victims. Abusers want to replace your view of reality with theirs. They work to make you doubt yourself so they can control you. To counter the myths about abusers, here are some truths and realities. Reality number 1, he is controlling. Controlling behavior comes in many forms. Here are just a few examples Bancroft came across. 1. The man who required his children to do calisthenics, which is a type of strength training exercise, every morning before school. 2. The wife who was not allowed to speak to anyone without his permission. 3. The man who would make his wife change if he didn't approve of her outfit. 4. The man who would sit back at the dinner table and comment like a restaurant reviewer on the strengths and weaknesses of the food his wife made. 5. Men who maintain full control of the television, which is common among many abusers. Some common spheres of control for abusive men include 1. Arguments and decision making. Abusers believe they know what's best for you and the relationship, and they must maintain control and authority. They also believe they have the right to take whatever steps necessary to establish their will, even if it includes abuse. If an issue is important to them, they must have their way. 2. Personal freedom. An abusive man considers it his right to control where his partner goes, what she does, what she wears, when she should be back home, etc., and feels that his partner should be grateful for any freedom he grants her. This is the kind of man who uses language like, "I let her do this and let her do that." Those who don't outwardly forbid certain behavior may constantly make negative comments about someone until their partner stops hanging out with that acquaintance. A strategy that's so effective because the woman may even believe it was her decision to end the relationship or stop that particular activity or even lose weight because of his constant negative comments about fat people. 3. Parenting. Abusers often consider themselves the final authority in parenting, even if they do little of the actual work related to parenting. They see themselves as the wise coach who sits on the sidelines and issues directions, stepping in to offer the right approach and guidance. Bancroft says, quote, no matter how good a mother his partner is, he thinks she needs to learn from him, not the other way around. End quote. Reality number 2. He feels entitled. Entitlement here refers to the abuser's belief that he has a special status and that it provides him with exclusive rights and privileges that do not apply to his partner. This specific attitude is what drives abuse. Some rights the abusive man awards himself include 1. Physical caretaking. This is the focus of the more traditional-minded abuser. Cook, clean, care for the home, the children, etc. This is the one who sees you as an unpaid servant performing endless labor. These men still exist. They just don't openly say they expect to find a warm meal on the table when they come home, but they still lose it if it's not there. 2. Emotional caretaking. You're supposed to always be at hand to meet his emotional needs, which includes anticipating needs he hasn't expressed. For example, never get tired of listening to him talk endlessly about himself. Never spend time doing what you enjoy alone, or fail to drop everything you're doing to soothe him when he's low. Your focus needs to always be on him and his needs. 3. Sexual caretaking. This means he considers it his partner's duty to keep him sexually satisfied. She can't turn him down, but he can turn her down. Sex must be on his terms. Even her pleasure exists for him. It proves to him his prowess, so if she, for example, fails to orgasm, he may resent her. 4. Deference. This refers to the abuser's entitlement to have his tastes and opinions treated as edicts. You better not disagree with him, certainly not in front of other people. The unstated rule is you are not to question his ideas. Number 5. Freedom from accountability. He sets numerous limits on his partner's conduct, but doesn't believe there should be any limits on his own conduct. For example, he can be highly critical of his partner, but she isn't allowed to raise any complaints about him. Reality number 3. He twists things into their opposites. A common way abusers twist reality is claiming they are the victims, and their abusive tactics are only a response to their partner's actions. An abuser attacks his partner, and when she attempts to defend herself, it infuriates him, and he abuses her even further, then claims he was defending himself. Or a man continually bullies his partner with persistent insults. When she finally stands up for herself, he storms out, accusing her of nagging him. Reality number 4. He disrespects his partner and considers himself superior to her. The abuser tends to see his partner as less intelligent, less competent, less logical, and less sensitive than he is. Abuse and respect are diametric opposites. You do not respect someone whom you abuse, and you do not abuse someone whom you respect. Reality number 5. He confuses love and abuse. An abusive man often tries to convince his partner that his mistreatment of her is for her own good. I'm doing this because I love you, and I care too much to sit back and do nothing. There's that African classic, a man who loves his wife will discipline her. This confusion of love with abuse is why we have vile acts described as crimes of passion. They stem from the belief that people can be driven by deep love to commit terrible acts. What could more thoroughly prove a man did not love his partner than these violent acts? Genuine love, where you respect your partner and want what's best for them, supporting their self-esteem and independence, is not compatible with abuse and coercion. Reality number 6, he is manipulative. Abusers use a variety of tactics to maintain control over their partners. Non-stop intimidation and bullying make them look bad and may make their partner see them for the bully they are. So they use manipulation to get what they want. Signs of manipulation. 1. Changing his moods abruptly and frequently, so you're always off balance, not knowing what to expect. 2. Denying the obvious about what he's doing or feeling, e.g. he is mad at you and hasn't been speaking to you, but insists that that's not what's happening. Number 3. Convincing you that what he wants you to do is what's best for you, essentially reframing his selfishness as generosity. 4. Getting you to feel sorry for him so that you will be reluctant to push forward with your complaints about what he does. 5. Getting you to blame yourself or blame other people for what he does. Number 6. Using confusion tactics in arguments, e.g. subtly changing the subject or insisting you're thinking or feeling what you aren't, or even twisting your words, to name a few. 7. Lying or misleading you about his actions, desires, or reasons for doing certain things. Lies, a form of psychological abuse, are a common tool for abusers. And 8. Getting you and the people you care about turned against each other. Reality number 7. He strives to have a good image. A woman dating an abusive man may end up wondering what's wrong with her, given that he gets along great with everyone but her, and everyone else thinks he's great. Abusive men have split personalities, where they are charming and affable with others, but are critical, intimidating, selfish, and domineering at home. Here are some reasons why they cultivate multiple personalities. 1. They're laying the groundwork to get off if it ever comes out. First, it makes her reluctant to reach out, for fear that people will not believe her. Second, in the event that someone, for example, overhears him being abusive, they'll wonder what she did to push such a nice guy to such limits. And the woman is right in thinking people won't believe her. People find it hard to believe that charming men can be mean, vicious, and violent. It's why so many abusive men get away with it. And 3, gaslight her into believing that she's the one with the problem if she's having relationship difficulties that may have been caused by him. After all, he gets along with everyone. Reality number 8. He feels justified. Abusers externalize responsibility for their actions, believing that their partners make them behave in abusive ways. This is expressed in statements like, "She knows how to push my buttons. She wanted me to go off and she knows how to make it happen. She pushed me too far. There's only so much a man can take. You expect me to just let her walk all over me? What would you do?" Everyone is responsible for their actions but them, and the someone who's to blame is usually her. Reality number 9. Abusers deny and minimize their abuse. If a man is abusive, of course he'll deny it. If he was ready to take responsibility for his actions, he wouldn't be abusive. Men will admit to some abusive behavior, but they don't see it as abusive, and they only admit to a small portion of what they've actually done. To them, it's not as serious as their partners make it out to be. They consistently minimize their abuse. Reality number 10. Abusers are possessive. Possessiveness is at the core of the abuser's mindset, and from here, all his views flow, so that in feeling like he owns you, he sees that he has the right to treat you as he sees fit. This is why abuse tends to get worse as the relationship gets more serious, because he comes to think of you as his prized object. In closing, quote, "Abusiveness is not a product of a man's emotional injuries or of deficits in his skills. In reality, abuse springs from a man's early cultural training, his key male role models, and his peer influences. In other words, abuse is a problem of values, not of psychology." End quote. Brief recap on some of the key truths about abusive men. 1. He is controlling. 2. He feels entitled. 3. He twists things into their opposite. 4. He disrespects his partner and considers himself superior to her. 5. He confuses love and abuse. 6. He is manipulative. 7. He strives to have a good public image. 8. He feels justified. 9. He denies and minimizes his abuse. And 10. He is possessive.